Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the warm-up show for what is going to be an outstanding day of arm wrestling today. We've got a big match set for later on this evening, but oh my goodness, Uncle John, how are you, brother?
Oh, I'm doing well,
I can't
man.
believe what we're about to witness today.
I'm pretty excited about this. It's a long time coming. I think I'm losing you already.
You're losing me already?
Yeah,
I got you clear, but
you got me clear. All right. Well, I'm very excited for this match. I think it's going to be, it means something, especially for Lachlan and Toddzilla. The ramifications of the match, what we can draw from it, depending on how this goes. I mean, this has been building for what, 3-4 years now, basically at this point in time.
Oh, I am definitely losing you now. Hang on a second.
Oh no, we're crashing.
I apologize, YouTube. Let me see if I can sort this out. My computer is being useless right now. Let me just close some applications and see if this fixes it. Still got Photoshop open. Still got all these other things open.
Oh yeah, Zoom doesn't like that. Zoom doesn't like that.
Yeah. way too many videos, way too many thumbnails going on. As we go down this path of this quest to try and set up a studio in this room that I'm in. But nonetheless, I think it's coming through clear now. You got me clear?
Yeah, I can hear you now much better.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let's kind of do that intro again. Good to see you guys here as we've got people coming in and all that sort of stuff. Thank you straight away to everyone that is signing up for the pay-per-view. I'm always an open book. I like to be an open book in this respect, and I wanted to thank you guys. At the moment, what would I say? We're at 373, Uncle John, something like that.
Yeah,
and that number's climbing constantly. So really grateful for all you guys, because you guys supporting events like this is really what makes it possible for us to do bigger and better events in the future. So thank you so much to everyone for that. But we are set for a massive match tonight. 9 p.m. in Virginia is when it's going to actually go down. And to be honest, like you said, it does mean a lot. It means a lot for Lachlan. You've mentioned it. There's emotion in it. There's validity in it for an entire country. There's a lot in it for me on a match with RBJ coming up. There's everything in this. Oh man,
it's all tying together. And I that's what I love about the sport so much, that we've been missing over the last couple of years, because it's been really hard, one, to get together, but then it's especially hard to have really big, meaningful matches, because everybody's just been pulling in their own little groups and their own little clumps for the most part. And finally we get, some of these big, significant matches, so we can really get back on the road. I really truly hope we can get back on the road where we actually know, who is where. We can actually because right now you and I can sit down and we can hem and haw about this and that and the other thing, but at the end of the day, we're taking information that is in many cases over 2 years old, because we just don't know at this point. People want to know, okay, who's better than who? The only answer is we don't know. And tonight is going to go a long way in helping us figure that out.
Now, interestingly, I've just put a poll in the chat, and after 39 votes, we are Lachlan 55%, Todd 45%. So there's a few, maybe that's a bit of favoritism from my channel because we know Lachlan, but it'll be interesting to see where it goes, because I know when this match was first released and first talked about, it was overwhelmingly Todd. It was like 82, 83, 84, 85% Todd. I've seen that steadily shift as the matches become closer. I mean, it's hard. How do you draw? Like you said, you mentioned that the data is 2 years old in a lot of respects. How do you even go about drawing conclusions or trying to draw conclusions on this match with such old data? Where do you even begin?
There's so many ways you can approach it, right? And it really depends on what you value most as an arm wrestler, how you understand arm wrestling, your alliances and your feelings towards the pullers. It's really difficult for me because I kind of wash a lot of stuff out. I mean, Toddzilla has a very, very rich history going back many, many years. So it's hard to, not look at Toddzilla. For me, it's very, very difficult to vote against Toddzilla in this match. But there's so many things that can go into it. I mean, Toddzilla, obviously, we've seen him in more significant action recently. Lachlan, we saw against you, and he performed extremely well against you. But we don't know what that means, right? We don't know what it means to beat Ryan Bowen. I think that's really good. I think it's really good if you can beat Ryan Bowen like that, but I'm not sure. So, you can go at it a lot of different directions. For me, right now, I'm happy to just watch these two guys who clearly know what they're doing. If anybody thinks that, like, Toddzilla is just too smart for Lachlan, or vice versa, Lachlan is just too strong for Toddzilla, I don't think it's overwhelming on either side. I think we're going to see something that might actually be quite special tonight. And we might see guys that nuclear bomb each other right in the face.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And that is one true thing that I've heard Toddzilla say. I've heard Toddzilla say people overestimate his strength, but underestimate his skill. And like you said, it's probably the opposite exactly for Lachlan. Everyone says, look at the damn size of the man, and make an assumption that his experience level is not good enough. So it's funny to think that, but it is truth that this match is anything but that. It's anything but that in the sense that both of these guys, I think, really respect the opponent they're coming up against, and they're very, very capable arm wrestlers. Both of them are full-time arm wrestlers in that professional sense. They are absolutely dedicated to being at the top of the tree. Todd's been doing it for a long time. Lachlan is he's so hungry. He's in Australia anyway. We believe that Lachlan's been there for about a year and a half, and he just hasn't had the opportunity to prove it. I've never seen a man more ready to explode than what I've seen from Lachlan. So, oh man, I can't wait. I really can't wait. And when we try to use the measuring stick of him beating me, it's that's a difficult one for the internet to grasp, because depending on whose videos you're watching, I'm either amazingly good or I'm amazingly bad. So there's a lot of different opinion out there. But the bottom line for me, this match is there's no way. I personally think Lachlan is going to win. I do. I have $1,000 bet on this.
Yeah. Now, is that on Stake Kings or is that a private bet?
No, that is with Jonathan Hoffman directly. Nice. I say that loud and clear publicly, Jonathan, so you don't forget to pay me in about 12 hours time or whatever it is. But it's $1,000 with Jonathan Hoffman, and I'm genuinely confident, just because I think Lachlan personally has I think he has more superior strength than Todd. I do believe that. I believe Todd has fingers to possibly be ahead of Lachlan. I think he has an elbow, a supinated elbow, that is definitely ahead of Lachlan. But I think in all other respects, Lachlan is ahead. Wrist flexion, back pressure, rear delt pressure if he needs to drag, pronation. I think Lachlan's got all of those things. So it's just, can Lachlan not screw it up? That's all it is. Right. And I think he cannot screw it up. I think he gets the job done, and I think it's going to be decisive. To be honest, I think it's going to be decisive, Jungle John.
Do you think that I'm sure you can speak more to Lachlan's mindset going into this, but obviously Lachlan has an amazing amount to gain from beating Toddzilla. I'm not so sure if obviously if he beats Lachlan, it's kind of, most people are going to say that was expected. But do you think that making sure he doesn't lose to Lachlan is weighing on Todzilla's mind, or is he just, do you think, approaching this as, it's another match, it's another way for me to make some money? What do you think his thoughts are going in?
This is some, I'm going to reveal some, I think some deep truths that maybe each man isn't even willing to admit to themselves. They certainly won't admit it publicly, or maybe to a small degree. But I genuinely feel like with the backstory that has happened between these two men, and the backstory, if you're not aware, the backstory is deep. The backstory is really deep, and it's about 2.5 years old of very deep backstory. And if you're privy to that backstory, you'll understand why I say this. I think deep down, Lachlan Adair is there for a purpose beyond arm wrestling. I think he's there to make a statement as more than just an arm wrestler. He wants to kick Todd Hutchings' ass. He wants to utterly destroy the man across from him on that table. Yeah. And I think Todd Hutchings is the old lion coming to the fight with his tail between his legs deep down, because I think he knows that he deserves an ass kicking. I think deep down that's there.
He deserves an ass kicking?
That mentality has to leak through into the physicality for me. And I think, like I said, I don't think either man would necessarily say that, but I think deep down, when you go searching into the soul, I think that's what's there. And that plays a factor for me. I know if I felt like that, it would be hard to get up for a match and be angry and be like, no, screw you. You know what I mean?
That's a huge part of it. Like, I have to imagine, like, I talked to Lachlan. I talked to both those guys last week live. And when Lachlan was telling me about, how specific he is with his travel to get over here and how he's planning to eat so he can be absolutely perfectly ready to go. And then I think about Toddzilla, who Toddzilla is training hard, but he's also having probably some beers along the way. So it's like, how hungry is Lachlan? Lachlan appears to be as hungry as Jaws in Jaws #1, right? He is ready for blood, is what it seems like to me. So I think you are onto something, with Lachlan being cooped up in a cage. Like, this is a guy who touches weight and lifts weight that I don't have enough weight to even attempt it in my house. There's just not enough weight there. I'd have to go buy more. And it's just such a unique time where we get to be teased for so long. This is a tease that's been going on and on and on. And this is a collective release, if you will. So if you're not there tonight, ladies and gentlemen, you are missing it. You are missing it, because this is going to be a hell of an explosion.
Arm wrestling news. I can see Pradeep in the chat. Pradeep, get your ass on this Zoom. I want to hear your opinion of this match. I know I've heard it, but I want to hear it again.
Pradeep's going to be like, "You're idiots. Toddzilla 6-0. I will bet it. It will be done, and then it will be."
I gotta try to put myself in those people's shoes for a moment. What is it that, like, I know Neil Pickup, for instance. I'm on the fix with Neil Pickup regularly, and Neil is someone who he firmly believes, and many others do, that this is not even a match. They say, no. It's great to have aspirations. It's great to reach up on and forward, but this is Todd Hutchings we're talking about, and Lachlan is new. It's not going to happen under any circumstances. I can't make any of those assumptions line up. I just can't do it. I can't. Can you see it? Like, explain it to me. Where is it that? What is it that I'm missing that makes? For me, the worst case scenario in terms of the way this match could be taken as a loss. There is no way that Todd Hutchings, in my vision, can simply just pin casually or pin quickly or pin with any sense of ease Lachlan Adair. The only way he can beat Lachlan Adair is by a 15-second war where he survives a surge from Lachlan, manages to turn it into the deepest supinated hook, and then grinds out over about 10 seconds side pressure. That's the worst case. I cannot see it doing anything worse than that. So where do these guys get it from?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is that there's just nothing to go off of, right? For Lachlan, very, very little. And anything we do have to go off of is multiple years old. Whereas with Toddzilla, he's a little bit more in the public eye. We've seen him, even though he lost to Zoloev, it didn't really do too much because then he beats Corey West. You see him, he's still relevant. So, you know how it is now, where it's very difficult to get truly accurate predictions, even with guys that have been around the sport, right? You obviously think about arm wrestling every day of your life. Neil Pickup, I guarantee you, thinks about arm wrestling every second, every day of his life, and you have completely opposing opinions on this match. And that's representative, I think, of just where we are and our perceptions. You've touched Lachlan a lot, right? You know where he is. You know how strong, how ridiculous he is, but nobody else does. Yeah. Nobody else does. And I don't think people believe you.
Well, I am a good salesman. Sometimes I'm too good a salesman in some senses, and hence they no longer believe me. But for me, if you're just trying to use the me as a gauge, at the end of the day, ask yourself, if you just look at the people that I have beaten from that are in the range of Todd Hutchings in terms of the Chance Shaw of 2000 and early 2020, the Dallas Langston of 2019, the Alan Guerra of 2019, the Evan Burgoyne of 2019, and the Dan Mosier of 2019. If we just say those names, can you say, can Todd Hutchings beat those guys like Lachlan beat me? Just ask that question. And I don't think he can. I don't think he can beat those names as decisively as Lachlan beat me. And yet I beat every one of those guys. So are we allowed to do that in this sport? Can we compare as simply as that?
I mean, sure, I think we can. It's just how much validity are we going to give it, right? And because your form, your shape is much different than it was then. Like, I feel like you've been getting bigger, you've been getting better. My beard is thicker. Your beard is thicker, so it really goes to, because we got to remember, probably 50% of the people who are going to watch this pay-per-view didn't know what arm wrestling was when you pulled Dallas Langston in 2019. Or Alan Guerra, in WAL.
They only know that I have a loss to Lachlan that was really bad.
Right. Exactly. So everything messes with our minds. And that's why I've really opted to switch my perspective from who's going to win this match to what's the story of this match. And I really want to enjoy. And that's what I like to say to people too. Don't get so wrapped up in who's going to win. Let yourself get wrapped up in the romanticism of the lead up to the match. Let yourself get a little bit of that Neil Pickup iron dick on your way there. You'll be feeling good, and you can't lose. If you put your time into enjoying the lead up, you can't lose at the end of the day.
I am one with you on that, Uncle John. Absolutely. I a lot of the time, people observing my behavior struggle to differentiate between a prediction and me storytelling and just enjoying each person's story. And I agree with you on that. But for me, let's be clear on this one. I am making a prediction, and it's 6-0 Lachlan there. It's 6-0 bad. It's not even close at the end of the day. It's bad. It's bad.
I haven't made a match prediction. I have made the prediction that I'm going with Toddzilla. But I think it'll be close, like a 4-2, or if maybe they go to a silver bullet. I'll wish for it that they go to a round 7. Probably not, but my question is, if those grinders, like you're predicting, or you're saying, okay, Toddzilla wins in like this 15-second real hard battle, it's not going to be quick. The question, like, we know Toddzilla can go deep. Mm-hmm. How confident are you that Lachlan can go really, really deep and maintain that power that he has in round 1 through all 6? Because that's something we haven't really seen from Lachlan.
Yeah. Well, as I answer that, I just want to quickly say, VJ Poach, thank you for the super chat. He says, I believe in Lachlan, but I love Todd. I just wish this to be a good match. That's all. And I think it will be. It'll be a very good match. Thank you, VJ, for the super chat. But Uncle John, to answer your question, Lachlan is not an endurance guy. Straight out, he's not. He's really not. But there's always 2 ways to win a long battle. One is to have the hands be balanced and have superior endurance, or the other one is to win the dominance of the hand and subsequently neutralize the degree in which that opponent's endurance is relevant. And Todd Hutchings has more endurance than Lachlan, without a doubt, especially if it's in a hook. If it's wrist back, I suspect their endurance might be similar. I don't know. But if it's dominant on anyone's behalf in terms of the hand and wrist and the rotation, then endurance is not going to be a factor. And Lachlan, as Neil describes him, he's a sprinter. He's fast as Fred, and he's powerful. You look at him in the powerlifting gym. He's explosive. And now in training with Lachlan, I can feel him draining almost in real time. You can feel him going down. But the other thing about Lachlan is he refreshes his peak strength really quickly. So if you keep him on the table constantly, he'll burn out. But give him 1 minute rest and he'll flash pin me again. I'm like, damn it, why did I let you have that 1 minute rest? Like, get back here. And so Lachlan will take the full 1 minute rest no matter what happens, and he will be refreshed for, you can at least be certain that the first 3 seconds of the next match will be right back up at his peak force. He may not be able to maintain it for 20 seconds like Todd can, but his peak force in that first rev, oh man, it's big. And to share with you and the audience and try to express how big that feels right now in the last month or two whilst preparing for this match, I would do my best to simulate Todd Hutchings' style and shape. And I would do that by placing my left hand around the back of my wrist, digging in with supination and driving and blocking with my bones and holding up Lachlan in that position with 2 arms. I lost 8 out of 10 of those pulls against Lachlan. I lost. He would wear my 2 arms out with his surges, and I couldn't survive it. And I'm just like, I just can't imagine a human using 1 arm against that degree of force and surviving it. I just can't.
Yeah, well, that's going to be the thing, right? It's like, how ridiculous. If Toddzilla does win, how ridiculous is it going to look? What kind of danger is Lachlan going to be able to put Toddzilla in? So you're on that side that says Lachlan is going to go through. Now, if Lachlan does go through Toddzilla and it's 6-0 and it is bad, what does that mean for you and RVJ? What does that? How do we extrapolate? Because this is what people are going to want to do. No matter what, after this match happens, win or lose, they're going to directly apply this result to you and RVJ.
Someone's block on Stake Kings will immediately sell out.
Yes.
Someone's block.
For sure. For sure.
It does have huge ramifications. Clearly, right now, there's a big sentiment that RVJ is going to crush me. From anyone who thinks that Lachlan isn't a chance against Todd, they think it's even worse with RVJ and myself. Right. Because of those same people say RVJ and Lachlan would be an amazing match. And for stylistic reasons, and that it's a different match than the one against Todd. But a lot of people perceive RVJ and Lachlan to be at the same level. If Lachlan defeats Todd in a decisive fashion, that's something RVJ has never been able to do against Todd Hutchings. And it will straight away, like it really does depend on how decisive, or is it a war? Is it super decisive, or is it a loss? Because if it's super decisive, everyone is going to be quickly backing me, or quickly an increase in my profitability on the arm bets. And honestly, I want that so much. I've been waiting for this moment for so long. I can't wait to see RVJ shitting himself. That's what I can't wait to see. I spoke to John Brzenk today, and John Brzenk said to me, John Brzenk's one of the rare humans on earth that actually truly knows my capabilities on the table. He's one of the very few that's had the genuine opportunity to feel everything I can throw at someone. And he said to me today, oh man, I hope I want to commentate that match, because there's a point. He said RVJ will feel so comfortable in the setup. He'll be like, just say go. And then he'll say go, and he'll hit this little stick that you've got, this point that you've got, and he'll be like, what's this? What's going on? Why can't I get through this? And he said the look on RVJ's face at that moment, is going to be priceless, and I want to be commentating it when it happens. So I'm really excited about the ramifications because I want RVJ to be shitting himself. I want him to go from thinking he's got it easy to panicking and asking for more rule changes and trying to get everything changed under the sun. Yeah. I've actually offered RVJ, let's start in the fully supinated hook out of straps. I'll do it. And he wouldn't do it. Wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't want to do it either. That sounds awful. It'll be interesting. I'm probably. Go ahead.
What does it mean? What does it mean? What do you think the natural progression is for Lachlan should he win this match in any way, shape, or form? Where does he go next?
Man, the moon, possibly. I mean, at that point, if it's decisive, he's not going to have to ask for the matches.
No,
right?
Yeah,
I mean, the matches will just come to him. Yeah. And he'll be able to take his pick of pretty much whoever he wants. I think it's a little bit different. Like if he destroys Todd versus if he just squeaks it by, it's probably a little bit different. Both very, very good. But, people are going to want Lachlan real bad as soon as that happens. But then I think, it probably goes because Lachlan's not going to come down in weight. I'm guessing he's probably going to stay where he's at, or maybe get bigger. I don't know if he can get bigger or not. But the question is, will he go after the real super heavyweights, the guys that do outweigh him by, 50 to 100 pounds? And is that the direction he goes, or does he stay kind of in that mid 200s zone?
I think realistically, and knowing Lachlan's insights to a small degree, I think he would want to get a bunch of runs on the board at that kind of 105, 110 mark. He'd like to pull Cressy. He'd like to pull, he'd like to pull a bunch of people. Sanders maybe, Marcio maybe, John maybe. I don't know. There's a bunch of those people at that weight that he'd like to pull before he says, okay, now I'm ready for the genuine top 10 in the world. Because that is a big step up, isn't it? Like in terms of just the physicality of people like Kadecha and Vitaly Laletin, and you start to go, whoa, I'm really up against it in terms of just the biomechanics of these opponents. So, but at the same time, if he decisively beats Todd Hutchings, there are very few people on the list now that are going to be volunteering for a match with Lachlan. There's very few.
Yeah,
I personally think that King of the Table will call very quickly. If Lachlan is successful today, I think the King of the Table will say, this guy's hot. This guy has marketing power behind him right now. And out of the current kind of preferred crop or of people for King of the Table, who do you think they give him? I think that there's people like Hermes. There's people like Michael. There's I don't know. There's Gennady. There's big names that I can't. It doesn't seem that far fetched that if Lachlan beats Todd decisively, that he gets a call for, and one of those names is attached to it.
Mm-hmm. I think I go with King of the Table. I would love to see if Lachlan beats Todd, I would love to see Lachlan and John. Because there is more connection there. They could then you could be on the card too, and then you have to decide what corner you go in. Yeah. Now we're talking.
I can answer that now. I'm already in John's corner. Sorry. I'm bailing on. Yeah. There's a part of me that I need revenge in some way, shape, or form eventually on Lachlan. And if I can get it through John, vicariously through John, that'll do.
Nice.
But yeah, that would be amazing. But realistically, we can't just make that assumption. We do have to think that, look, what about the other side of the coin? How devastated is Australia going to be if Todd wins 6-0 today?
Well, if Todd wins 6-0, Australia can prepare to just close the lid on the toilet and go back down and flush yourself reverse.
Yeah.
And there'll be a little bit of time probably of adjustment where people will say, just like we always knew Australia was garbage from the beginning. But Australia with you and with Lachlan and with Jordan now, I'm really excited because I get to meet Jordan at Arm Wars coming up at the end of this month. With you guys all hitting big events, with you all, starting now to be able to move, it's going to take a lot more than this to derail Australia at the end of the day. But there will certainly be a bit of heat, I think.
Yeah, I will cop a grilling. I think this is like a pushing the chips all in kind of moment for me.
Yeah.
This really is. This is if Lachlan loses 6-0, I'm just gonna have to laugh my way through the next 6 months. There's no way of explaining out of it. There is no way. I will be shocked, and I'll just have to wear it, and I will. It certainly won't stop us arm wrestling, but I will be very shocked, and I'll have to wear a lot of delusional. I'll just have to start accepting the t-shirts and everything. I don't know.
Well, I think that there's from my experience, a lot of people overestimate how emotionally like someone like me would react to a loss, right? For me, I've been doing nothing but losing for like 10 years.
Yeah.
So losing, it is what it is, but like it's not like Ryan Bowen is going to go and cry. He's just going to go and train more. Like that's what we do. But people tend to think that there's these big, huge emotions, and you're on your bed just pounding your pillow after you take a loss. So we'll see what happens, but it's not as bad as you think, guys. It's not as bad as
that's very true. What do you think about when we try to draw conclusions on levels? Once again, there's one more piece of data out there that usually wouldn't be significant enough data to matter, but in this case, because we lack so much data, it is kind of interesting. And I'm talking about Mario Tambakis and his performance recently, where he faced Cody Merritt. He also pulled Jordan Sill and lost, but it was that was 30 seconds after he'd pulled Cody, so he had the shine taken off. I'm not saying that he would have beaten him, but in terms of the fresh v fresh data, he pulled and defeated Cody Merritt. Now, Cody is not a right-handed arm wrestler by any stretch, but he's still ranked 13 in the USA.
Yeah, still very good.
List. So he's. I asked John this question today, and he said he would generally put Cody's right hand among the very top tier of the 210 pounders. So he said he would have good matches with all of the pointy end, the Craig Tuyes, the Paul Lynns, the Dallas Langstons. He's that level. He said that's where Cody's at. And Mario, who was 103 kilos, so 230 pounds, just under 230 pounds, he beat fairly decisively Cody. I beat fairly decisively Mario, and Lachlan toyed with me.
Yeah.
What can we draw from that?
So, I mean, I think that's legitimate. It's just a matter of personal preference of how much weight you give to it. For me, I look at what Mario did and I was like, God damn, Mario's a strong dude. And then you can kind of ratchet that up with the way you handle him and
Jordan destroyed Mario 3 months ago. Crushed him.
So I look at that and I say, well, it makes sense to me. That's why I think this match is way closer than most people think it's going to be. If people support Todd, it's generally like, oh, he's going to destroy him, right? I think this is going to be a close match, and that's one of the reasons, right? I can't say definitively, well, Mario beats Cody Merritt, and then Ryan beats him, and then Lachlan beats him, henceforth Todd gets destroyed. But I think it really makes a legitimate argument that Lachlan absolutely deserves to be in this match. And that this is not just Ryan's doing more of his trickery. He set up this match just to get the pay-per-view, this whole, that kind of conspiracy. I don't believe that at all. I believe Lachlan has earned every right to be in this match. And I do think it will be good. Yeah.
Yeah. He definitely has. He's earned it. He's been one of the most patient humans I've ever known in the sport, given it's been 2.5 years or 2 and a bit years. He's had matches lined up that fell over at the last moment where he
Mm-hmm.
was meant to take on Ryan Scott.
And then you stole all the glory.
I stole his number one rank, and then so awkwardly had it, and hence we had the match for it to be formalized. But yeah, I stole his number one ranked match and won again unexpectedly. No one thought that was going to happen. But so he's been so patient, and as we said right at the beginning of the show, I think he's literally ready to explode with this opportunity. I think there's no fear in Lachlan at all. I think he is just ready to say, "Told you fucking so." That's all he wants to say. And yeah, I think when a man's in that mindset, it takes a lot to derail it. It takes a lot to derail that mindset. And Todd's cheeky. Todd's style. If you look at Todd's style of trash talk in the lead up, it's been nonchalance. It's been yawn emojis and whatnot, as though he's not taking it seriously. Trust me, he's shitting himself on the behind the scenes. I guarantee it. He is taking this seriously. And if he was doing anything less than that, it would be a travesty to himself because it would be bad. So it's interesting, the yawn emoji nonchalant approach versus the I'm about to explode. Let me demonstrate how powerful I am. Two very different stories coming into this one, and yeah.
Makes it so good. It makes it so good.
Guys, this is going to be happening, of course, at 9 p.m. If you haven't already signed up to the pay-per-view. This will be at 9 p.m. in Virginia. So whatever Eastern Standard Time that is, I think it is. If you're in Australia, know that there'll be a lot of Australians tuning in. It'll be 12 p.m. Brisbane time or 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time. So it's a nice barbecue time for us. I expect arm wrestlers all over Australia to be uniting in the live stream there, and there'll probably be live streams of the live streams of celebration parties of gunfire in the air and all that sort of stuff going off if Lachlan wins, because there's not an Australian that thinks he's going to lose. I can tell you that. Everyone is like, just wait. It's about to happen. Here it comes. So 9 p.m. Virginia. Sign up for the pay-per-view. I've tagged the link. It's in the description. I think I pinned it as well in this one. If you haven't got it, go and jump on there now. And we'll be live. And are you doing a commentary of it yourself?
I wasn't planning to. I might go on with if Aussie Arm Wrestler is still doing his, I might jump on and do that. So we'll see. I'm definitely going to be locked in and watching the whole thing. There's no doubt about that, because I am also interested in Travis Bagent coming back, and just to see where he is, if this is a real comeback for Travis, if he is like, hey, by the way, I am going to go get that King of the Table money, or if he's like, well, it's on pay-per-view, so hi everybody, here's my wave, and I don't care about this match.
Yeah. Well, the thing about when I think about Travis is I can't imagine Travis taking a match that is kind of as public as this one is, that he doesn't think he's going to win, or that he thinks is close to not winning. I think that would be a big risk for Travis to just ruin even any semblance of a comeback. And I mean, Travis's reputation, he doesn't mind for it being trashed. He's okay with that, but this would not look good if he got belted in this scenario. And Brandon Alcessa is a beast. He's been one of the most significant performers of the last 2 years. Yes. And I don't think he can be underestimated, but surely Travis takes this one. He has to, surely.
You have to give him, at least 95% favor, I think, just because of who Travis is. And the fact that even if Travis hasn't trained for a year, 2 years, he's still going to beat 99% of the planet, right? Just coming off the couch, because he is legitimately that good left-handed.
Yeah, he is. Hey, we got a super chat question from NWUK1. He says, hey, Ryan, if we buy the pay-per-view, will there be a replay option? The match is on at a grim time for the UK. Ryan, you've hyped this up more than the competitors themselves. NWUK1, yeah, I have. I love this match, and yeah, Lachlan didn't need to do any of the marketing. I was very happy to do it all for him in this respect, but it is going to be massive. And the answer to your question, there certainly will be the replay option. The live stream will be permanently replayable for you in that members area, and there will be an edit and release of the footage probably within maybe 4, 5, 6 hours after the live stream event anyway. So it'll all be happening behind closed doors at the event. So there won't be any low quality footage really seen from it. So we'll get some high quality releases. I know Artem Taranenko from Top Roll Kings going to be there. Chance Shaw's there. They're all going to be filming high quality as well. So there will be some quality footage matches coming out. But if you want that experience of not knowing who won, then yes, there will be the ability to replay it as soon as you wake up. Just avoid social media because you can guarantee someone will say it somewhere, which is just only natural. But yeah, that is the answer to that question, NWK1. Thank you for the super chat. I think there was one more in here as well. Let me find it.
Kevin Temk. He says, betting on Lachlan is the easiest bet in arm wrestling right now. Would have been my first bet on Stake Kings, but I just found out an hour ago he sold out. Should take a look at the Stake Kings site and see what's going on here.
Honestly, every time I've looked, Kevin, Lachlan's been sold out too. I think Lachlan is coming home with a wet sale, and it's Todd that is struggling to sell. And I think I made a post on Twitter yesterday, and a lot of people thought I was just doing it for hype, but there was very much truth to it. And I posted on Twitter that word on the street is from people that have seen Lachlan in the flesh that Todd's in trouble. And I chatted with Lachlan, and he said, yeah, the general reaction to people meeting him so far has been, oh shit, you really are that big. I thought Ryan was always photoshopping. So there's a realization going on that he really is that enormous. And it's true, guys. He is. I've never photoshopped one photo of my life of Lachlan Adair.
People don't understand how long it takes to Photoshop.
Increasing graininess and making the color grade good. I've never changed the shape of Lachlan. That is the shape of Lachlan. And if you don't believe me, go and see it for yourself. He's the meat bag in his wrist is just a joke. It's weird. It's really bizarre. And so everyone who's seeing that, people that are in Todd's corner are shitting themselves.
No, man. Well, right now it looks like Todd and Lachlan are both sold out on Stake Kings. And so they probably won't open up more blocks, I'm guessing, because it says the timer runs out in 3 hours and 45 minutes. Maybe they'll open up more blocks, but
Devin Larratt, if you're watching, open up another block. I'm sure blocks will sell. They will sell. I'm convinced they will sell. And I will, trust me, Devin. I will push it. I will get on at least half an hour before the show, and I'll make more people want to either prove me wrong with their money or prove me right.
Yeah,
I'll put 1,000 on Lachlan. 1,000 on Lachlan without hesitation. It's the biggest I've made in arm wrestling, and I did it very quickly. And I love it too, because Jonathan Hoffman, the man who I'm betting against, he was equally as adamant and like, this is the easiest money ever. They're the best kind of moments. One of us has to absolutely eat it and explain to their wife why they're $1,000 down.
All right. Question for you regarding generally the future of events and pay-per-views like this, where so this event, there's not going to be an audience then, correct?
Correct. It's behind closed doors, this event. Yeah.
Behind closed doors. Now, Neil is switching Arm Wars to that as well, where there is no audience. Now, for Arm Wars, there's not going to be a live stream at all. You're going to have to wait until the individual episodes come out. But do you see, because I know we talked about this a lot like a year ago when we weren't quite sure how things were going to move forward. Is this what we're going to start to see? Is that so we can minimize the amount of shit quality lives from the crowd and really control it and give people what they want in a more controlled way to make us as athletes look a little bit more professional?
I think so. And the reason is the sport just isn't big enough yet to really be able to afford the high end production. We don't have WAL pockets to reach into to pay tens of thousands of dollars every time we have an event. And so we are at a point where we're doing this ourselves. We're seeing people like Engan Terzi put on events done by himself. We're seeing people like Larry with King of the Table. That's a step up because Larry's channel was so significant that he's got pretty decent money behind it that he can take the risk on. But for channels like my channel, like your channel, like Travis, this is a stepping stone in a very good direction, I believe. Matches like this are entertaining. We all love matches like this, and we can actually make matches like this happen with much more regularity, and it can be the ones that the fans really are hungry for, because this does make it profitable. I just checked in. We have 377 pay-per-views sold at the moment. And that's pretty damn awesome. Like that can cover the basics of making an event possible. You combine that with entry fees at a tournament. You combine that with the revenue generated on social media as we build up to it, and it's viable to be able to, first of all, cover the expenses to get athletes there, pay them for being there in the first place, put on a few $1,000s to have as a prize, which it's what's happening in this respect. Both athletes are being paid an appearance and they're fighting for more. And travel was covered for Lachlan. And so a pay-per-view is absolutely worth it. I love that YouTube gives us the platform to do it on. That is, I mean, YouTube take 30% of a pay-per-view straight off the bat, but that's worth it given that we have the audience here that understand the channels. I think it is very much a development in the right direction, and something that the content creators of arm wrestling world, I think, will embrace, and they should embrace. So.
Well, okay, so that's, you brought up, the YouTube taking 30%, and I know a lot of people are critical of that because they don't want the YouTube finger, and I would like it not to be there either. But the fact of the matter is, people don't want to navigate away from YouTube. This is where the people are, and to get people to join up on YouTube and spend a couple bucks on YouTube is 10 times easier than saying, hey, click this link to my pay-per-view site and then sign up for the pay-per-view site and then pay me money there. Yeah.
There's inherently this distrust as soon as you leave YouTube and you go into another website. It's just, the way it is. And it's, I agree. Keeping it on YouTube is amazing. You can actually do it on Facebook too. Facebook, I know my page is open to pay-per-view events on Facebook. So maybe even there's a future if there's a genuine audience there as well. So I think for a small sport, it's the perfect platform, and I think we'll see more of it. And I'd love to be able to do this on a once a month basis or something like that, to be able to line up a match somewhere in the world that's genuine and be able to offer the people on that card a cut. And that's just cool. Even if the cut ends up being not that much, it's still cool. If you've got one headline match on there, it's going to draw decent views. Like I said, we're about to crack 400. I think when I said 377, that was the old data. My computer's gone too slow now for me to refresh, but we're seeing constant people signing up here in this chat. Green bars are flowing by every 10 seconds. It seems like another member. Look, there we go. So I'm sure we're well over 400 now already. And by the time this match is on, I don't know, we might be at 600. We might crack 1,000. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But it's very cool for the sport to be able to have this as an opportunity. Very cool.
Well, it's awesome, not only for the fans, because we get to see something, very exclusive, well put together, but it's also really exciting for arm wrestlers, right? If you're an arm wrestler and you really want to become someone who is known in the community, you want to have bigger and better matches. This didn't exist before. This is a huge opportunity, something you can strive for. When I started and you started arm wrestling, it was like, well, hopefully I'm good enough to get on Arm Wars, or, go to Zloty, or, maybe WAL or something like that. That's really difficult to do. Whereas if we start regularly doing this, we can highlight so many more arm wrestlers and give so many more arm wrestlers the platform to prove that not only can they arm wrestle, but they can make us feel something. So for God's sakes, Damon Ransom and Robert Kelly, this is your freaking opportunity. If I don't feel something during your match, you're both trash. And I'm going to tell you as much. So make me feel something, boys.
Yeah, that match in itself, I think wouldn't it be good if that match ended up being like the match of the night in terms of the
Yes.
emotion, the entertainment, the blood, the sweat, the tears, and the dynamics of the actual pull itself. I think that's they do have an opportunity. Like I said, they've got a paying audience. Like not many people get a paying audience, as you said. So it's freaking exciting to say, shit, we got a 600 strong crowd that paid to see this.
Yeah.
That does make you feel something. It just does. As a human, you're buzzed. You know that these people are watching. You know that they're going to talk about either how shit your match was or how good it was. It's up to them now what happens. So yeah, it is a good opportunity for sure.
And there's power in both for people who are still hung up on winning and losing. There is power in both, right? Mm-hmm. There is benefit you will gain from the win. There is benefit you will gain from the loss. I know because I just got my ass whooped, and boy, have I never trained as hard, right? You think I'm going back into this Arm Wars with the same mentality I had at the first one? Hell no. I'm training so much harder. I know, exactly where I need to go. I know
you're pulling Nentjes.
Maynard Nentjes.
So okay, there.
Not only that, but so I knew for a while now I've got a left-handed match with Maynard Nentjes. Then I do an interview with Neil the other day and Maynard, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, guys, this is a battleground now. So it's a left-handed battleground. So I got two other guys to worry about, and we're doing a right-handed battleground as well. So I've got four super matches at Arm Wars. So thank goodness I've been training.
Buckle up.
Yeah.
All right. So back to Lachlan and Todd one more time before we wrap this up, because we've been on for about an hour, and we're gonna jump off and let this day unfold a bit more, because no doubt we're gonna hear more. We're gonna talk more, but to finish up this match, do you think anyone is going to be intimidated at the last moment? A lot of bravado in the build-up from both, a lot of nonchalance and casualness from Todd. Do you expect to see a mental battle that is thick and real, or do you think they're going to be gentlemen? What do you see in just the mental collision of these two coming together? How do you see it going?
I would be shocked if we see two totally cool guys up there. I don't think it's going to be possible with all the lead up to this, with all the ramifications for this. I mean, Toddzilla's been in a million big matches like this, so maybe it will affect Lachlan more, possibly. But I anticipate that these guys, they'll shake hands. There's not going to be any like angry shenanigans, but you better believe when they grip up that first time, we're going to see some veins bulging. We're going to see some redness in the face before we even go.
Who's going to have the eye contact? Will someone be looking in the eye? Will someone be looking away?
I hope they just meet in the middle, Ivan Drago, Rocky Balboa style, and it's game on. That's what I'm looking forward to.
I asked Lachlan Adair an hour ago, as I saw he woke up. I said, "How are you feeling?" And his response was, "Like a tank." Was his first response. So, and then further chatting with him, he says, with a few colorful expletives that I won't say here on YouTube, but I want to hurt this.
The killer instinct has been born. Oh man!
So that's what's coming from Lachlan. So I'm not privy to that conversation from Todd's side, but that's what I want to hurt this.
Yeah, I love that attitude. I think that's the attitude that Lachlan needs to have. He needs to get rid of this idea. He cannot have it in his mind. He can't be thinking, "I'm fighting Todd Hutchings. This guy is a legend. This guy has beaten so many guys." He needs to go in there, killer instinct. He needs to go with a tank fully loaded and not allow any of that stuff to seep in, because that's the seed of bad times. Yeah. And I think Lachlan is smart enough and strong enough, both physically and mentally, to have himself prepared. When I talk to him about the way he thinks about things and the way he prepares for matches, I don't have any doubt that mentally Lachlan will be ready to go. I just think Todd's going to be ready to go too.
Yeah, and that's a fair enough assumption. Ladies and gentlemen, we got one last super chat in, then we will head off. It was from Philip Byron. He said $10. Ryan and Devin, the hardest working guys in arm wrestling. Thank you very much, Philip Byron. But I did want to shout out, look, there are a lot of hardworking people in arm wrestling. I can say this because I 8 years ago, I was working just as hard as I am now, and no one knew who I was. There is a whole bunch of people working as hard. To be honest, probably harder, especially harder than Devin. I mean, Devin's the most chill dude on the planet, but he's impactful, that's for sure.
Yes.
So I appreciate the super chat, but there is a whole raft of people. Uncle John being one of them, most hardest working, talented people. But Aussie arm wrestler, Sweden arm wrestling TV, Evan Burgoyne's getting on it, Chance Shaw's getting on it. There's Top Roll King, arm wrestling news. Have I missed them? There's more arm TV. Yeah. There's a bunch of them. They're all incredibly hardworking, and it's this global rise that we're seeing. It's truly, truly epic and amazing. So thank you for the super chat and the support. Yeah, really appreciate it. So guys, we will wrap this one up here. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to my guest today, Uncle John. Please, ladies and gentlemen, head over to Uncle John's Arm Wrestling TV. Is that what it is? It's Uncle John's Arm Wrestling. Arm Wrestling show, to be precise. All right, I'll drop that in the description as well for anyone else who needed it later on. But head over there, subscribe, keep the conversation going for the next 12 hours, or probably the forums will be lighting up on Facebook and Reddit and everywhere. I have no doubts. It's going to be a big match, ladies and gentlemen. It's a defining moment for the nation of Australia, and even all of Oceania, New Zealand as well. They are just as much invested in this as Australia. And for Todd Hutchings, this is the moment for him to just say, "Hey, not yet, little cousin, get back in your box. You can't touch an elite yet." So it's going to go down at 9 p.m. in Virginia time, Eastern Standard Time, Australian Eastern Standard Time. It is 1 p.m. on Sunday. Don't miss it. Grab your pay-per-view, and we will see you there for some live commentary. All right, guys.